umbrella. And Bubba made history again on Sunday, becoming the first black driver to lead a lap in the Daytona 500. Now, Wallace got caught up in the fiery, chaotic last lap, ended up finishing 17th. But Shannon, how impressive was this?
Well, considering, Skip, that because he failed 2 inspections, he had to start at the back of the field.
Yep.
And so they put it that set him back considerably because I believe he had the type of car that could have won.
I agree.
The Toyota car and Mike, they put him in a good car. Michael Jordan.
Yep.
He has the top crew cheese. He has the top everything. And so he was in position. He ran at the front of the pack for the better part of the day, Skip. And as Jenny read, he did lead. But a lot of time Daytona comes down to luck. When he had to pit because of the loose wheel with 22 laps to go, Skip, that's it.
Yep.
Because you go down a lap, you're not making that up.
You're not.
Unless something major happened, and the major thing happened like on the last lap with the 2 guys wrecked.
Yep.
But he's already a lap down. So there's nothing. He needed to be in contention with about 25 laps to go. And then I would have liked to see his chances. But I think the thing is, and I had Bubba on my podcast, he knows in order for this thing to be successful, he's going to have to win races. Not just run at the front of the pack, not finish second, not lead a lap or 2 and say he's first. It's just like anything, Skip. Look, there were other black golfers, Charlie Sifford, Calvin Peete. I remember Calvin Peete. And Calvin Peete won tournaments, Skip. But it wasn't until Tiger won majors. So until he start winning races, he can win any race. It doesn't have to be, obviously, their Super Bowl is Daytona. But if you win Talladega, if you can win Daytona, you can win the Coke 600. You can win any of those, Skip.
Right. I was there at the Masters one year when Calvin Peete, just momentarily, he led the Masters, but he did not win the Masters.
So, Skip, he understands in order for him to have the credibility that he wants and to try to bring that and try to get crossover eyeballs into that sport, he's going to have to win. It was bittersweet because, like I said before, I believe he had the type of car that could put him in serious contention. So it was a positive, but that's not going to be good enough. Sooner or later, he's going to have to start paying these things off with crossing that line with that checkered flag waving in the back.
I agree. I thought this was a huge deal just for him. First black driver to ever lead a lap at Daytona. That's a big deal to me. It was lap 129, and then what happened immediately on lap 130? His teammate, who's not only his teammate, but the co-owner of his team, took the lead back. So now we're back to one of my favorite movies, Talladega Nights. It's shake and bake. It's drafting off each other. And, hey, Ricky Bobby's saying, hey, I need you to be second. I need you to help me. I need to slingshot off you. And it felt like he had to take one for the team and let Denny back into the lead. Okay, I get it. It's fine. But that car was running hot, it looked like to me. And Bubba was raving about his car when it was over. And so we get to the bitter end of it, and I agree with you about having a pit with 22 laps. It's just no good. But there was such fiery chaos in the final lap. And as Bubba said, I should have bailed quicker. Well, this is just, you just learn. You live and you learn. If you can sense it a little earlier, you bail a little faster. You just get out of harm's way. He got rear-ended. He didn't, he said it afterward, I just didn't bail fast enough. And if you don't, and you get rear-ended, you are done. It's over. Okay.
You going 180 miles an hour, ain't no way yet. You going into the wall, you going into the infield, you going into somebody, but you're not getting out of harm's way.
Okay, and he didn't. He still finished 17th, which is pretty good. Not all bad. But if he could have somehow ducked the chaos, maybe he emerges unscathed, and then you don't know what might happen in a wild, crazy
thing. Those are the things that you... Somehow the really good drivers, the Earnhardts, they always avoided that, and they came out victorious. The Darrell Waltrip, the Richard Petty.
It's a sixth sense.
Yes.
It's just something.
They could somehow always, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, they always found a way to maneuver that and then put themselves like, okay, now we're going to race the last 2.5 miles. You and I are going to race, buddy. We're going to see who has the best car.
Well, Michael Jordan gave him one of the best cars.
He did.
And again, it got disqualified twice.
Yes.
And it got the car chief kicked off the grounds.
Yeah.
And then finally...
Because it's the crew chief's fault.
I know.
I'm a driver. Look, Skip, I'm not up there looking at those nuts and bolts and see if, you got the restrictor plate or the drag that force where it should be. I'm not doing all that. That's your responsibility.
Nope.
But he started, I was like, I just knew when I read that Bubba started, I was like, oh, shh.
Yep. So from back of the pack to lead a lap, that'll work.
Yeah.
He's got talent.
Yeah.
He's got moxie to him. He has a presence about him. Mm-hmm. You had him on your podcast. And I love the way he stands up to the pressure.
Right.
He faces it down. Mm-hmm. We went through the whole noose incident.
Right.
And he stood tall through that
right.
to me. And I love to listen to him. He's impressive to me. And by all accounts, everybody around him says he's got talent.
Right.
So he's got the it factor. He just needs to your point, he needs to break through and win one.
He got to win one. And then maybe the floodgates open, Skip. Yep. But he has a car now, Skip. This is not the little bomb and pop operation thing. Well, you know what? We might run 10 races this year. We might. No. You got Brand Jordan backing you.
And Michael grew up just like you grew up. In your family, NASCAR was a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Skip, as a matter of fact, me and a friend of mine, he's in the ATF now, Steve Gerardo, we brought Gargoyle glasses so we'd be like Dale Earnhardt. Okay. Dale Earnhardt had them Gargoyles. They when the Intimidator pulled up to your rib, you already know what time it was. He's finna bump and run you. Okay. So me and my brother and my sister used to watch Daytona all the time. We knew all the races, all the guys. Obviously, Bill Ellis from Dawsonville, which is north Georgia, and to have somebody from Georgia win and knew about, Bobby and Donnie Allison, all those guys, Harry Gant, Darrell Waltrip, drove the Tide car. Man, you could not go to a local store without seeing NASCAR everything. The little toy model cars, the hats, the shirts, the handkerchiefs, everything. I don't know if they still like that. Definitely not out here in California. But in the South, Skip, when I was growing up as a kid.
And you're not in North Carolina. You're
I was in Georgia.
South Georgia.
Yes. Right. Everybody.
And what does Michael Jordan say? A lot of weekends, his father would pack up the family in the car, and they would drive to a southern track all over the South to watch a race.
We didn't go to start car. My uncle would take us to the drag, the quarter mile. So I saw a lot of quarter miles out there on Ogeechee Road when I was growing up. My Uncle Ronald used to take us out there. But
the point is, this number 23 car, it's got some weight behind it. It's got the GOAT. It's got Michael Jeffrey Jordan saying, I'm going to win at this.
He got to. Yep. Because, Kim, you know how he is. He had a motorcycle club. He did. And he poured a lot of money into it. They're like, Mike, you getting such a late start. He's like, hey, I'm going to win. He won a couple of races. Mike wants to. And I understand everybody's like, well, he ain't trying to win in Charlotte. It's hard to win in Charlotte when guys, free agents not coming to Charlotte, Skip. So you better hit. Now, it looked like he hit the nail on the head with LaMelo Ball.
I think he did.
Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, has been unbelievable. Gordon Hayward is refined. Gordon Hayward's looking like the Gordon Hayward in Utah. So they got the makings of something, but the East has gotten so much better. But Bubba need to win one of these things. He wins one, we on to something, Skip.
Okay, last quick thought on what happened in Charlotte last night. My Spurs are a force in the West. He had been at full strength, as hot as they were coming in, we might be having a whole different conversation
The whole conversation was, you lost. We got 4 working on 5.
Okay. Well,
eyes on 5. Now, see, if LeBron had tweeted this offseason, eyes on 5, why did he got to let it? Jordan would have never let anybody know that he was going for 4. He was going for 5. He was going for 6. Now he got all eyes on 8, and you like, oh, cool with that. That just goes to show he's letting these young guys.
Has 6 finals losses. He's 4-6. Brady.